Hi everyone, this video we will continue looking at equations quadratic in form and some more examples. So here, the way it is written, it's kind of complicated. However, you'll notice that this term x squared minus 5 is repeated. So it makes sense to set this as u, making the overall equation u squared plus 3y minus 10 equals 0. Okay, so I'm going to use split the middle term here, 2y or 5y, 2y, get u plus 5 minus 2, u plus 5, giving me u minus 2 and u plus 5 is 0, which eventually gives me u is 2 and u is negative 5. Okay, so I have x squared minus 5 is 2 and x squared minus 5 is negative 5. This gives me x squared is 0 or x is 0. This gives me x squared is 7 or x is plus minus root 7. So I need to check now. When x is 0, I have negative 5 squared plus 3 times negative 5 minus 10. That's 25 minus 15 minus 10 is 0. So that's a valid solution. What about when x squared is 7? When x squared is 7, I have 2 squared plus 3 times 2 minus 10. So I have 4 plus 6 minus 10, which is 0. So that satisfies as well. Therefore, I can say that the solutions are x equals 0, x equals root 7, and x equals negative root 7. So these are the three possible solutions. The next example has 10x to the negative 2, 7x to the negative 1 plus 1. Here we can use exponent properties and we can say that if I let u is x to the negative 1, then u squared is x to the negative 1 squared, which becomes x to the negative 2 because that is negative 1 times 2. So the whole equation now becomes 10u squared, plus 7u plus 1 equals 0. Now for this, I'm going to split it as 5u and 2u plus 1 equals 0. Taking out 5u common, I have 2u plus 1 plus 1, 2u plus 1, giving me 5u plus 1 times 2u plus 1 equals 0. This gives me two solutions. U is negative 1/5 and u is negative 1/2. But what is u? U is actually x to the negative 1. And what does it mean for something to have a negative exponent? It just means it's a fraction 1 over x. So this means 1 over x is negative 1/5. So I can cross multiply. When I cross multiply, I get negative x is 5 or x is negative 5. Same thing here. I have 1 over x is negative 1/2. That gives me, again, by cross multiply, it gives me negative x is 2 or x is negative 2. Now, of course, I have to verify, right? So verify 10 over negative 5 squared plus 7 over negative 5 plus 1. Is that going to be 0? Let's see. 10 over 25 minus 7 over 5 plus 1, 25. 10 minus 35 plus 25, 0. So that works out. 10 over negative 2 squared plus 7 over negative 2 plus 1. That's 10 over 4 minus 7 halves plus 1. That's 10 minus 14 plus 4, which is 0. That works out as well. So the solution is going to be x equals negative 5 and x equals negative 2. Now one last example. Now, just as we had a negative exponent involved, we can also have fractional exponent involved. Basically similar to having the radical example in a previous video, because a radical, if you recall, is basically an exponent of 1/2. So here I rewrite this as x 1/3 squared plus 11x 1/3 plus 2 equals 0. And then we let u is x to the 1/3 to give 5u squared plus 11u plus 2 equals 0. Again, splitting the middle term, 10u plus u plus 2 equals 0. 5u, u plus 2 plus 1, u plus 2 equals 0, giving 5u plus 1 times u plus 2 equals 0, each of which gives u is negative 1/5 and u is negative 2. But what is u? U is x to the 1/3. So x to the 1/3 is negative 1/5, which means to get x, you're going to have to cube both sides. When you cube both sides, you get x is negative 1/5 cubed, which is negative 1 over 125. Here you get x 1/3 is negative 2, and you get x is negative 2 cubed, or x is negative 8. Okay, and then let's verify this. Verify. I have 5 negative 125 to the 2/3 plus 11 negative 1 over 125 to the 1/3 plus 2. So what does that come out to? 5 times cube root of 1 over 125 is 1 over 5. And because of the negative, it becomes negative 1/5, and you square it, so 1 over 25. But this will remain negative, plus 2, that's 5. You get 1 minus 11 plus 2 times 5, which is 10. That's 11 minus 11, which is 0. So that works out fine. What about negative 8? That's going to be 5 times negative 8 to the 2/3 plus 11 times negative 8 to the 1/3 plus 2. So that's cube root of negative 8 is negative 2, which when squared gives you 4. So 5 times 4 plus 11 times negative 2 plus 2. 20 minus 22 plus 2, which gives me 0. So both of these are solutions. So these solutions both agree, and thus they are accepted as solutions. So pretty much what we are doing is, once you know how to solve quadratic equation, you not only know how to solve these degree 2 quadratics, but also anything that looks like a quadratic. That is, meaning if you make an appropriate substitution, you can make it look like a quadratic and then solve using the quadratic methods, which essentially gives us more tools and gives us an ability to solve more number of equations. That's it for this video. This is one of the topics for this week. Thank you.